Hey everyone, after yesterday, decided today was definitely needed to focus on self-care. So this morning I woke up and got some wheatgrass juice and added a little lemon juice to it, which really helps with the flavor for me. Other people will add things like apple or grape to it. We'll have an orange chaser or a slice of orange afterwards. Powerhouse of greens there. Made myself a full antioxidant smoothie and added all my supplements for the morning. So that got me the energy to get to this afternoon, and I decided I needed some more vitamin D and some hydration to flush things out of my kidneys, anything that might be there afterwards. So it's a half a watermelon for me for my lunch. I'm going to be enjoying that. This is a good lunch. But one thing I wanted to go over today was money. Money is a very sensitive topic, and when you are encouraging somebody or sharing with them what you're doing, most of the time money is going to come up because people are going to want to know if they're interested. How is this even possible? Everyone spends so much every month or every week on their groceries, and this they should already have in their mind of how much they spend, and they think the first thought that we have is transitioning is probably going to be more expensive than what I'm already doing. And I want to start off by saying I have no means already perfected this at all. I am in the beginning stages, and so I'm just going to share with you tips and tricks that other people have shared with me, things that are working, things that I'm still working on to try to get more bang for our buck. And as I said before, we're a military family, so we only have so much every month to spend, and that's it. There is no extra, there is no give, and we can pull from other areas in our budget. If we're spending less on medical bills, for example, we can pull that into our food budget and supplement it that way, but still the same overall dollar amount is there and must be worked with. I'm also feeding 3 other human mouths in my house as well. I'm going to be one of those strange people at picnics who eat all the watermelon. The first tip I was given was to buy in bulk. So what does that look like? You can go to your grocery store and ask them, how much would you charge me if I purchase an entire case, and will you give me a case discount? Some stores will, some stores won't. Personal experience here, Whole Foods will. However, their prices were more this month than any of the other stores I went to on the produce I was looking for. So I would not have been saving any money by purchasing a full case at Whole Foods this month. Trader Joe's would not give me a case discount, but did have considerably cheaper selection of the organic produce that I wanted, and I am trying to get organic whenever possible. Down here in the Texas area, southern area, we have a store called Central Market, and that can also supply a lot of your organics. They have been very kind and have given me a case discount on the produce I purchased there. Up in the Northwest, you'll have wonderful stores like New Seasons and Choice Market. So check out those markets and see what you can do. Walmart, they do have organic foods, just price compare if you can to anything else. Don't automatically assume a store is going to be cheaper until you check your prices with the other stores, because this is not always the case. And if the closest store to you for 50 miles is Piggly Wiggly or Brookshire's, I'm praying for you. There are other things that you can do. A co-op is one, or a buying club. Just make sure that the selection you're getting are items that you will be consuming. A lot of places do not let you, I would say most of the places don't let you say exactly what you want in your basket that you're purchasing. So you may be purchasing a lot of items that you really don't enjoy. It can be good to get you to try things that you normally wouldn't try, but if you're going for the raw food diet and you get a whole bunch of leeks, that could be very discouraging. Another great avenue are farmers markets. Now, farmers markets would be my #1 choice to do, and I would certainly be doing that if I was still up in the Northwest area like Portland, Oregon, where I used to be. You had farmers markets by the dozen that you could go to. Find the one with the best and most abundant supplies of the foods that you really love. However, here in Fort Worth, that's not the case. I can get local at these farmers markets, but the produce is very limited and it all has been sprayed to some extent. So when it comes to organic produce, you've got to have some give and take. If you cannot afford to purchase the produce that you want to organically, know your Dirty Dozen list, and that's very easy to search. It changes every year, I think. But basically, the rule of thumb is look at the skin of your produce. This is a very thick-skinned produce where I'm not going to be consuming the skin. This I would feel a lot more comfortable buying non-organic than, say, strawberries or spinach. Those are very delicate. They absorb things like peaches, you eat the skin. So if I'm going to be consuming the skin, I definitely want to be doing organic whenever I can. Thick stuff like this and bananas where I'm going to be peeling the skin off or not eating the skin, I'd be okay with getting non-organic, and I have done that because I need to feed my whole family. Keep in mind the nutritional density of non-organic foods is very low compared to their organic partner. For example, oranges. To get the same amount of nutrition in organic oranges, you'd have to consume double, even triple in non-organic. So keep that in mind. You may have to find some good quality supplements in case you're not getting your nutritional needs met, and that is very important to do on any lifestyle change, is to make sure that it's completely balanced and you are getting what your body needs, which can be very easily done on a vegan raw food diet, and I have been so super excited to learn that, and I'll share more about that later. Also, another thing would be quality versus quantity. For example, if I can't afford to purchase berries this time of year because they're out of season and I really love berries, maybe I might get one box for the whole month just to have a nice treat. But I'm going to be spending the bulk of my money on things like bananas and apples, which are considerably cheaper. If I had to stick with just certain types of veggies, I'd be sticking with my dark leafy greens like kale and spinach. I'd be selecting vegetables like celery that have best nutritional qualities, so I'm getting the best bang for my buck, and I'll buy a lot of that, whereas I'll only buy a few little snow peas or a few fancy peppers, that type of thing. You might get really bored of eating 20 bananas a day, for example, if that's what you're doing. However, if you're getting the health benefits that your body requires by doing that, then it's totally worth it, right? So let's be bored with food for a little while until we can work up to a point where we can afford more and do more. Another avenue for finding cheaper produce would be ethnic stores. Have amazing deals. I can remember one time when I was looking for limes and I could not believe how inexpensive they were. A lot of times these are really little stores that you don't see. You drive by too fast and you don't see their sign. So get online, do the search, find ones that are close to you and check them out. Another tip I have is grow your own garden. We've got some fun experiments growing inside the house. Some celery, romaine, basil, some tangerine seeds are sprouting, and I do have one sunflower sprout that didn't make it, but waiting for the roots to come out here. Planted some other sunflowers outside already, and they are going to be tall. Here is the garden that we made here. We had to dig out the soil and then put in soil for this to be successful. You can see mint, strawberries growing like crazy, broccoli plant that never made it. Aww. And some garlic. Over here is my hydrangea coming back. And we've got some onions, and not much else is growing here yet. The soil here, no matter how I mended it, isn't going back to being bad. But I do like the irrigation line, the soaker hose that I'm using. For some reason, this is the first year my rosemary looks terrible. I do not know what happened to it. More hydrangea. Columbine grows here in the shade. I was so happy. That is my favorite flower ever. And over there we've got some potatoes and daffodils and tulips coming up. I always love to have flowers in the middle of the garden. It just makes it so much prettier. Here in East Texas, the soil is very clay-like. It's very alkaline, and I've had quite a tremendous amount of difficulty in growing things. There are some things that have done excellent here that really surprised me. My hydrangeas seem to be very happy. Herbs grow here like you wouldn't believe. I've had the very best basil and rosemary and thyme that I've ever had. Garlic is pretty happy in my more shaded areas. And did you see the strawberries? How exciting is that? I did not expect strawberries to grow so well here. You do have to protect them and keep them away from squirrels and birds and your own dogs. Other people have had great success in growing tomatoes and peppers out here. I have not. I don't know why. I have tried upside down tomato plants. I have tried in-ground tomato plants, and nothing is working. Mint, however, is taking over the yard back here, which is kind of fun. I can never have too much mint. I use it quite a lot. We are in the situation of renting here, so there is only so much that I could do to this yard. The next place we go, I plan on doing a lot more, and if I could go back in time and redo some stuff and ask the owner permission further ahead of time, I would have done raised beds. Raised beds are fantastic. They keep your food up away from a lot of things that would try to eat it. It puts it up at a level where you're not breaking your back when you're trying to work on your garden. And you get to fill in good soil, and you don't have to be dependent on trying to till in good soil into the native soil and get it to work, or dig out the native soil. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. All gone down to the last drop. That is amazing. That was a good lunch. I don't know why I've never done that before, or even thought of to do that before this. Also, as far as raised beds go, if you're thinking that sounds really expensive to make it, there are so many building materials that are really, really inexpensive to do. Just make sure whatever you're using that you know what its leaching effects into your soil are going to cause. For example, cinder blocks are very inexpensive. They will leach some lye, and they make it difficult the first year or two for any plants right up next to the edges to grow properly. You can get old railroad ties and things like that, but that is treated wood, so make sure that you know what it's been treated with and that you really want that going into the soil, feeding the plants that are then going to come back and feed you. In conclusion, let me encourage you every time you watch one of these videos to go to the very bottom of the description. I will have links there that I change for every video to make sure that they are pertinent for that video, sharing with you where I got information or more research for you to look at, or helpful tips and tricks. It's all going to be beneficial, especially for you. So you'll have the standard introduction as to what the video series is about, and then the helpful links below. So be sure to check those out. You will be glad that you did. 2 examples for today that I'm going to put on there is how Christina afforded going fully raw vegan while she was in college, and some great growing your greens tips from John Kohler as well. Enjoy, and I'll see you tomorrow.